My lovely Leos, this is your horoscope for November 2024, and November welcomes us with new moon in your house of family and real estate. This new moon is an amazing one because Saturn will support this new moon. Saturn is the planet of responsibilities and hard work and also discipline. Now Saturn, will be situated in your eighth house of financial, like finances shared with other people, or finances that are coming into your life from other people, or institutions like banks or any other financial institutions or government. Now new moon happening in your fourth house suggests that some of you might actually buy a real estate like a house or an apartment, or any type of real estate sort of investment could happen here. And banks will be willing to help you out with money, or any financial institution, or actually insurance, for example, or inheritance. You might get inherited something as a like a house or a land, because four house rules, all four walls of our house. Now fourth house is also about our family, like family composition, how many people in your family. And new moon suggests here that you might get a news that you are becoming bigger. For example, you're pregnant, or someone in your family will have the happy news to tell you that you're becoming uncle or auntie, or your brothers or sisters are expecting babies, for example. Or like someone from your family is getting married. That's why your family is getting bigger. Like, or you are getting married and now your family is becoming bigger, let's say. Anything related here with your family is happening. But because Saturn is in your eighth house is a house of conception. It seems like it might be related to baby. There might be baby coming into your family. Or if it's already not a news, then around this new moon you actually might give birth, or someone from your family might give birth around this new moon, which will be happy news. And those of you especially who are born around 1st of August, plus or minus 5 days, will be affected the most. And Saturn naturally rules, your house of health. So here, conception and both of the house of health are, involved, and it seems like it's definitely could be about the babies. Now, fourth house is also house of, it rules our mother. Well, for some of you guys, if it's not any news about your real estate, if you say this is not my topic, if you say it's not about family, and nobody's pregnant, then it might be about your mother. And it seems like that news will be a happy one. It might be if your, for example, mother had some problems with her health. This new moon has the power to bring positive news around her well-being. Or it might be your mother coming to visit you and stay with you, as an example. Or they might actually give you news that they are writing an inheritance and they are appointing you as the main inheritant, for example. Or your mother might have some news to share with the whole family. It might be some news which will stay for a long time and it will affect you profoundly, because Saturn is sort of that karmic planet here, my dear Leos. Now, for the most of November, we have a bit of a tension between Pluto and Mars. Pluto and Mars will oppose each other. Now, that aspect will be exact on 3rd November. 3rd November will be the day to avoid. It will be Sunday, but still, even 4th November, try to postpone important meetings, important deals, or even love, dates to 5th November, to the best, actually, as the best option. Because between these two planets, Pluto and Mars, it's a bit explosive one, because Pluto is a planet of transformation and Mars a bit of aggressive and war planet. And opposition here suggests more of about relationship, and that relationship might be with someone at your work, with someone, for example, those people who work for you, like nannies, as an example, at home or at your work, your assistant, or anyone in your team, or your colleagues, simply, actually. And the relationship between you and those people might not go so well, and it seems like someone needs to go somewhere, or the topic of actually, um, this tension might be that someone needs to travel, someone needs to go far away, and you won't be agree with that, or vice versa. So it's just, I'm trying to give you sort of an example, but here it seems like this opposition suggests that you might have sort of a tension there between you and someone from your work. Or for some Leos, it might be totally about health situation. And whole November, there might be situation that you will need to decide whether to go somewhere to check up, like very far, somewhere abroad, or whether to take up retreat, like a rest, as a mind and body sort of heal, for example. Or there might be sort of a decision involved whether you should go and see some doctors and specialists related to your situation. So whatever is that, it might be involving those things for some of you guys. But there will be other, like, bunch of planets that will try to make friendship between these two. They will try to make their effect milder. Neptune, Uranus, and Mercury, they will try to save the day, and they will be, suggesting you to use your communicative abilities, to use your intuition also, and also your influence in whatever situation will be, between this Pluto and Mars suggesting in your life, my dear Leos. November 4th will be one of the biggest days because Mars is changing sign and it's going into your first house, into your sign. This is the day to celebrate because to have Mars in our own sign, it's such a privilege. It always marks something new starting in your life. It always marks a courage coming into your life. And whatever, Mars will be giving you that drive, that desire to accomplish, to go for what you dream, to go for your goals, let's say. And Mars in your first house will give you all that energy to finish all the things that you're going to start as soon as Mars enters your first house on November 4th. And it will stay for 2 months and even longer because Mars will start retrograde in December. So better to start and accomplish everything in November. I suggest you to do so exactly in November while Mars is in direct motion, because when Mars retrogrades, meaning slows down, everything goes slow and everyone goes slow, hesitant. Now you got the advice. Let's move to November 15, one of the biggest days of November, because we have two big things happening astrologically here. Saturn, planet of work and discipline, moving direct in your 8th house. It was retrograding, meaning slowing down and moving backwards from June 29, so almost for a half year. It was giving you sort of retrospective thoughts. Saturn is more like a spiritual growth planet. That's why it might have been giving you quite a lot of thoughts, like background sort of noise in your head, like mentally. It's not necessarily translated into direct something happening in your life, but more on your spiritual level, what you think, and time to time popping up in your mind as a background noise. And it might be about money, actually, shared budget with your wife or with your husband, or how to fund some project, where to get investments to your projects, or what kind of business partners to attract, how to attract, from where to get those business partners. These things might have been on your mind, and also conception, like becoming parents, in general, like, and it might have been, on your mind all this time. When Saturn goes direct, now will be the time to take actions on whatever you've been thinking and rethinking also, because while Saturn was retrograde, all those things were more on a draft level. But now, when Saturn goes direct, you will take up more actions on those thoughts after 15th of November in your 8th house. And whatever things that are related to investments, inheritance, were stuck or frozen to some time since July. After 15th November, all of them will go, finally will have resolution. Finally, you might hear some news. And if you are in that situation, let's say, like for news from banks, from scholarships, from alimony, if that's your case, inheritance or investments. Now, November 15th, we have also full moon happening in your house of career and social status. And full moon, will be an amazing one because it will conjunct Uranus. Uranus is the planet of shock and happy surprises. Why happy? Because this will be perfect full moon, because other two planets will be supporting full moon and Uranus. Neptune and Pluto, another two karmic sort of planets, subtle change planets. Whatever will be happening around this full moon, it seems like will be happening because of fate. It's a fated event and more or less happy event. But you will never expect what that will be, because Uranus is that a planet that loves surprises, making surprises, and mostly like shocking surprises. And it's happening in your 10th house, so it's a career house. Something coming to light there, something coming to conclusion, whatever you've been working on, now finally bearing fruits, my dear Leos. You might get recognized, you might get promoted around this full moon, you might get sort of achievement or nominated to something, because 10 has all the prizes, titles. You might change your title for the more higher one, for the more influential. Your reputation might rise actually here, and it will be sudden one. You will be shocked as never before around this full moon, but happily shocked, my dear Leo. So I'm so happy for you guys here. And 10th house is also all about social status. And here it might be also related to your health situation. If that was your situation, like related to conception, like fertility journey, or your well-being, if there was a thing that was concerning you, it might be that, or your partners, your husband or your wife, or someone in your life who is dear to you, if they were having some issues around their well-being and health and fertility journey, that thing will get resolution all of a sudden, miraculously. And you will be very shocked to hear the news, because that news will be happy one, but at the same time unbelievable one, which is amazing. Now, 10th house is also house of our father. If those things are not happening in your life, it might be happening in your father's life. Something coming to an end, something like coming to a light, actually. They might get recognized for their hard work, your father, or he might receive some prize or nomination or achieve something great, something big, and their influence might rise, actually, and reputation. That is so happy news will be around this full moon, and those of you who are born around 16th of August will be affected the most, my dear Leos. November 19, we have Pluto moving into your 7th house. Now, Pluto is the planet of transformation, and this changing sign is the historic moment. It's the moment of a century, not even the November month, because Pluto changing sign, and it will never be back into your 6th house. that it was occupying for the last like 16 to 15 years. Uh, Sorry, 15 to 16 years. It will never be back in our lifetime. So Pluto will occupy your seventh house now for the next 20 years. Now, seventh house is all about other people. It might give you a lot of like influential, like people who will become your husbands or wives or love partners or business partners. All sorts of business partnership, like signing papers. Pluto is the planet of big money and big influence, and of course, a big reputation. Those kind of people, C-level people, like chief kind of people, might enter your life to make some sort of agreements, and for the next 20 years your profile might rise if you will mingle jingle with such people, my dear Leos. And a lot of you guys, your partners, your better halves, like sweethearts, your wife and husband, might rise to this sort of level of reputation and influence. That is amazing. Now, November 26th, Mercury, our lovely Mercury, planet of communication and ideas and mind, because we need it sharp, for whatever we are signing or speaking, giving speech. But it's going to be moving backwards, retrograding in your fifth house starting November 26th. Now, fifth house is all things about love, about flirting, and it seems like your ex-partners or ex-lovers are coming back into your life. They might be contacting you. During Mercury retrograde, it's not advisable to again get involved into let's say same love stories. Why? Because when Mercury goes direct, you will once again remember why you actually broke up with that person in the first place. That's what usually happens. But you know better, my dear Leos. My job is to just warn you here. Now, when Mercury retrogrades, also not advisable to do plastic surgeries, any sort of planned surgeries. Of course, if it's unplanned and urgent one, of course we do them. But if it's planned and if those surgeries can wait, then better to postpone and wait until Mercury goes direct. And also during Mercury retrograde, not advisable to buy expensive things like technical things like phones or computers or laptops, anything, TVs that has chips in it, because there might be something wrong with those purchases, and you might be taking them back to the store. All those stories, they usually happen during Mercury retrograde, my dear Leos, and it's happening in your fifth house. So better to postpone, and especially if you are business owners, again here, try to postpone all those things that I mentioned, because fifth house is exactly house of businesses. Now, this was your horoscope for November, and I will make a separate video on Pluto moving into your seventh house. That's a big topic. Stay tuned. Don't forget to check your rising sign and moon sign, because most of the time our rising sign is the strongest influence, but for some people it might be moon sign. So check all those signs of yours and compare which one is affecting you the most right now in your life, my dear Leos. Love you all. Bye bye.